Welcome to Woodwork Therapy. On this video, we're going to be making a laser cut cross pendant that also will have a very unique epoxy fill to give it a really unique stained glass kind of a look. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So before we get started, don't forget to like if you like the video, subscribe if you like the channel, and more importantly, if you really want to hear from us, hit that bell notification icon for all of our newest videos. Let's get into this. All right, so the first thing we want to do is go ahead and design our cross. Now, as you can see here, basically what we're doing is we're designing the cross in an extremely large format. And then we go and we turn back around and create a smaller cross that goes inside of that using the squares on LightBurn itself. Now, after we're done with that, we'll go ahead and size this down a bit and then go ahead and put in the round top. And then eventually we'll be putting in the little hole that's going to be used to put through the little connector for the actual necklace itself. And don't worry if you don't catch all this or if you just don't want to create it. We'll also provide a link that you can purchase the file from our web store on woodworktherapy.com. All right, so now we've got our 1/4 inch walnut here that I picked up from the store because I was being lazy and I didn't want to make it myself. And we're just going to go and cut that down into little tiny squares that will fit our cross dimensions. All right, so we got our design all squared away and that's looking good. So now it's time to go and cut this little guy out. Now we are going to be using a Elgo laser 10-watt laser. We're going to be doing a speed of 300 millimeters per minute with a max power of 80. And we will also be using air assist with a number of passes being 16. So when you're going to cut this, make sure that you do give it a lot of number of passes. If you're doing a 20-watt laser, you can probably cut that down to probably a little bit over half. So walnut is very tough to cut through unless you're doing like plywood based walnuts. So do keep in mind natural woods are not as simple as they seem. All right, here we go. So I got this all squared up, all nice and cut out. It's looking great. Just going to do a little bit of cleanup on the sides to kind of give a little bit of a rustic look. Not going to take all the burn off from it because I think it actually kind of adds a little bit of an aesthetic to it. But definitely going to go ahead and clean up the sides a bit here and get that ready to go. And then we'll be doing some inlay. All right, so when you're doing one of these cleanups on lasers, you'll need some denatured alcohol, rag, and in my case here where we did like solid wood, you're probably going to need a little bit of sanding paper. So don't be afraid to be a little aggressive with this. I mean, we got an 80 grit over here to really kind of kick it out. And then I got something here a little bit softer, a 160. Just kind of knock it on. These are just regular sanding pads. I mean, sand nut from Diablo. So see if I could throw a link in the description. These are actually pretty nice for your sander if you don't like dust. I don't like dust. So anyway, but yeah, so not a promo or anything. I'm not sponsored by them, just something I really like. But anyway, so the basic idea here is to use the denatured alcohol to remove some of the black soot from the actual cross and then turn back around and use the sandpaper to kind of give it a patinaed look so that way it looks like it's old school and it's been around for like hundreds of years, kind of an idea. That's kind of the idea we want to go with for this part. So when you're looking at this, just kind of keep in mind that, you know, you want to take your time with it and just make it look right. Okay. You kind of see how that looks there. You can see we have that nice patinaed, it looks like it's been around for a long time, kind of a deal. So it looks very ancient in that sense. So like a great historical find. So there you go. Kind of fun. All right, cool. So now let's go ahead and get to epoxying, and we're going to try to, the idea here is to try to make this kind of look like stained glass. So we'll see how well I do at making this look like stained glass, but we're going to go for it. So let's do this. The first layer that we're going to be putting in here is just a clear layer of the UV epoxy. So we want to do about roughly about 1/3 filled up with just that alone. All right, now that the first part is all cured under the UV light and everything and is as solid as a rock, now we'll go ahead and move on to our color layer. And basically we just want to put a fair amount in here, again about 1/3 roughly, of colorant in here, so this way we can mix that in to give it that stained glass effect. Now, what you'll find out is that this will actually generate air bubbles unless you sealed the sides, and if you ever looked at old stained glass, you normally have like some sort of air bubbles in it from just the poor production quality that would have existed back at that time. And since we're trying to make this look like a relic, might as well just skip that step altogether, so that way we can get that effect as well. And trust me, you'll love it. So now that we're done getting our color layer all cured up and everything, now we've got that last 1/3, which is going to also be a clear layer. So while we're doing the clear layer on this, we're also going to go ahead and put in one of those little cross jewels that are actually made for fingers, ironically, so like for your nails and stuff. We're going to go ahead and put those in right after we get done filling it, and then position it into the place, and then cure that also with the UV bulb, and we'll be good to go as far as this goes. Now I do recommend overfilling just a tiny bit, so that way you have something to sand down to make it nice and level. All right, and after we sanded down everything and made everything look all nice and pretty, and added some lacquer coating to it to kind of give it a little bit of water resistance, this is what our final product looks like. And as you can see, it looks absolutely amazing. It looks just like ancient stained glass, just such vibrant colors. The bubbles are in there. They're just all natural. It just looks exactly like how you'd want it. Now, let's say you didn't want the bubbles in there and you wanted more of a modern stained glass look, then like I said, just seal the insides with like a shellac or even the lacquer itself, and that would work fine before you actually put the resin in. But otherwise, if you want the bubbles like I did, then here you go. To make the leather necklace part, I've included some links that will also be down in the description that you can get from Amazon. So basically the gist of it is that we want to go and cut the cord, the leather cord, down to about 24 inches. And then once we do that, we'll want to go and kind of trim the head a little bit of it, so that way it has kind of a finer point to it. And then once you've trimmed that down, then we'll take our bullet connector that we have, and we're going to put a little bit of CA glue in there, and then we're going to stick it on top of the actual leather cord head that we've kind of shaved down. I wanted to use a little bit of activator on here, and that seemed to actually work pretty well. I did clean it off a little bit before I went and actually put the activator on there on most of these, so that way we didn't have any drip over or anything weird like that going on. I used about a medium CA glue, just in case you're wondering. Now when we got to the actual cross pendant itself, basically what I did was I went and I took one of the little kind of the C hooks or whatever they're called. You'll see it down in the description. And we basically bent that until it fit through the hole, because obviously a 1/4 inch of wood's actually a little bit more than what those are designed for. So cut it down, or rather bent it out, pushed it through the hole, and then pulled it back together. And that's all I really wound up doing on there. And then that's how we wound up getting the effect that you see here in the video. All right, so what did you think? Did you like the idea? Is that a pretty cool effect that we created there? I thought so. Anyway, don't forget to check out our links down below. I'm going to definitely include some of the stuff that we used in the video in here. Also, don't forget to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you like the channel, and hit that bell notification icon for all of our newest videos. In the meantime, stay safe in the shop.